Title: Cultural Commentary, Kimmel's Role in Shaping Late-Night Discourse. Today we're diving into the intriguing world of late-night television, specifically focusing on Jimmy Kimmel and how his show shapes cultural commentary. We'll unravel the complex relationship between entertainment, politics, and media, exploring not just what Kimmel does on screen, but why it matters in our broader social landscape. Let's start by understanding the environment in which late-night television operates. On the surface, shows like Jimmy Kimmel Live present themselves as platforms for humor and commentary. But peel back that smiling facade, and you might discover a carefully managed pipeline that filters cultural insights into tidbits digestible for the masses. In an era where elite interests seem to dominate every voice that echoes through the airwaves, we need to ask ourselves, is Kimmel merely a player in this game, or is the controversy surrounding him part of a larger illusion meant to maintain the status quo? To grasp the significance of this, we need to reflect on the history of late-night comedy. Now, let's imagine a time when Johnny Carson was at the helm. Many remember his era as a golden age of edgy comedy. But the truth is that even then, the driving force was advertising revenue. The same can be said for hosts like Jay Leno and David Letterman, who expertly critiqued politicians without ever stepping on too many toes. When Kimmel stepped into the spotlight in 2003, he did so against a backdrop of change. More networks competing for viewers, a 24/7 news cycle, and a public grappling with discontent post 9/11. This shift didn't alter the key players in the game. Major studios like Disney, ABC, advertisers wary of offending any audience, and a government that wields both rewards and repercussions. Social media, though, added a new dynamic, amplifying viral moments of truth-telling, but always with a careful eye on what could be said without stepping too far out of line. Now that we've set the stage, let's explore Kimmel's most noteworthy moments. For instance, when he cried on air about his newborn's heart surgery in 2017, it was seen as a raw and authentic moment, connecting personal struggle to the larger debate on healthcare. But here's where it gets interesting. Kimmel's emotional appeals often stopped short of naming the systemic issues that keep the U.S. healthcare system tangled in profit-driven chaos. Instead, he called for us to do better. But do better how? By keeping the same politicians who perpetuate the system. Similar contradictions emerged during Kimmel's coverage of the #MeToo movement. He roasted figures like Harvey Weinstein, but largely avoided confronting the larger Hollywood complicity, including Disney's own entanglements. When he faced backlash for past offensive sketches, the apologies came through tightly controlled PR statements, suggesting that the outrage, while real, was also part of a scripted cycle where Kimmel always emerged unscathed. Let's shift gears and talk about politics. Kimmel's transformation during the Trump presidency was hailed as courageous. He labeled the White House liars and hosted emotional reunions for families separated by border policies. Yet, despite calling out the faults of one side, Kimmel maintained access to political figures, which raised questions about whether his critiques posed any real risk to sponsors or studio heads. This brings us to the crucial point. Was this shift to activist comedy genuine, or just a clever branding move, celebrated for ratings and not for challenging the power structure? Defenders of Kimmel often argue that he pushes boundaries more than any mainstream personality can. They cite his tackling of serious issues like guns and racism as proof of his courage. But is this courage real civic dissent, or is it merely a performance designed to let audiences vent their frustrations while keeping the broader power dynamics intact? Critics have pointed out that while Kimmel critiques billionaires, he conveniently avoids naming those who sign his paychecks. And what about the recurring drama of Kimmel's potential cancellation? Each time he faces backlash, the cycle repeats. Initial outrage, media coverage, and ultimately, Kimmel stays put. So is this about accountability or just a seasonal plot twist designed to keep viewers engaged and convinced there's still a line that can't be crossed? Now, let's explore the implications of this carefully constructed system. In the short term, we get the illusion of cultural progress. Monologues that touch on serious issues without ever exposing the puppet masters behind the scenes. Long term, this arrangement solidifies a deal between conglomerate media, government interests, and the audience. The wheel spins, controversies are manufactured, but nothing that genuinely threatens those in power ever sees the light of day. So, what could change this dynamic? Ideally, media would detach from corporate interests, allowing genuinely independent voices to emerge. However, given the costs of broadcasting and the career risks associated with biting the hand that feeds you, true dissent from within late night's polished studios seems unlikely. Perhaps we can hope for a gradual shift towards decentralized platforms, although even those aren't immune from new forms of censorship. As we near the conclusion of our journey, let's reflect on the role Kimmel plays in our cultural landscape. His time in late night isn't just another chapter in media evolution. It's a testament to how the machinery of entertainment operates. Revolutions may be staged, controversies contained, and dissent simulated rather than sparked. The architects of our political reality are also shaping what we see on our screens, creating the illusion that we're part of a broader conversation. So, what does all this mean for us? Next time you see Jimmy Kimmel's show threatened or challenged, consider looking deeper. Is he a fearless commentator, or merely another player in a grand show whose rules are designed to keep the powerful at the top? The cultural commentary we consume is filtered through the same hands that have always managed the game, leaving many of us outside, wondering when the joke will finally be on them. Thank you for joining me on this insightful journey through the world of late-night television and Jimmy Kimmel's role within it. Understanding these dynamics not only enriches our viewing experience, but also prompts us to question the structures behind the entertainment we consume.